fairly high. Gale force winds out of Siberia will mean a very cold start to the Olympics, but we push
in its icy grip. In fact, by Sunday it's going to be bitterly cold in many parts of the country, even some snow showers coming onto that eastern coast, and by Monday in southeastern parts we may well see temperatures remaining below freezing. The culprit, that area of high pressure developing across Finland, already up to 1,046 millibars. In Moscow the temperature a mere -21 a short time ago, and those easterly winds are going to be feeding all the way from Moscow across Eastern Europe and eventually into the British Isles. So it's hardly surprising that at the same time we will find this much colder weather feeding further and further westwards and eventually right into the British Isles during the course of the weekend. Not so at the moment. As a matter of fact, there's a good deal of cloud around across many parts of the country, and in the west especially it's still fairly mild. Just here and there one or two spots of light rain and drizzle as well. That's going to continue in western parts during the night. The odd shower may well come onto the east coast. The cloud's going to be thinning all the while. It's going to be very unreliable, and where it breaks you will end up with a touch of frost, and you could well get one or two icy patches on those untreated roads. There's tomorrow's chart. The high by that time snuggling down over Finland, a very intense area of high pressure at that. For most central and eastern parts, though, it will be a different day to today. It'll be bright. There'll be some sunshine, but there will be one or two showers around, and those showers could well be turning wintry along that easternmost part during the course of the day. In the far west, more in the way of cloud. Again, just one or two splits and spots of rain and drizzle here and there. Some heavier rain showing up in the far northwest of Scotland, probably late on in the day. At the same time, in parts of the southwest and West Wales, it may well begin to brighten up. It is going to be windy tomorrow, particularly so in these northwestern areas, and all the while these biting easterly winds picking up across the rest of the country. So although temperatures numerically won't be too low, around about 5 or 6 degrees, of course, as that wind picks up all the while, it is going to feel pretty cold. There's the chart for Sunday. A high settled down right over Scandinavia, as winds coming all the way from Russia in across most parts of the country. We've already seen that chart, of course. It's going to be bringing snow showers into many easternmost parts, especially near to the coast, in the more central and western areas
of the Winter Olympics, and it's going to turn very cold over the next few days. In fact, tonight a widespread and a penetrating frost to come. Watch out for some icy patches and also the chance of some wintry showers down these North Sea coasts. Now, a cold day tomorrow, feeling bitter, raw even, with a combination of this cold air and these biting southeasterly winds. And once you add those two things together, you end up with it feeling more like the temperatures showing up in the little boxes. Now, there will be some bright and dry weather around, also the chance of some snow flurries down those North Sea coasts once again, and some of those could turn quite heavy later on in the day. And later on, we might find the odd wintry shower turning up across the southwest. But as I said, a lot of bright weather in between. A bitterly cold Monday, still that snow turning up on that North Sea coast. And then later on in the day, well, we've got a little weather system creeping up from the south, and that will bring a threat of snow to the southern part of England. And on that...
Good afternoon to you all. Some very interesting weather to come over the next 4 or 5 days. For the second half of the week, everything looks normal, really, with mild southwesterly winds feeding across the whole country. That means to say a band of rain interspersed by brighter and showery weather. But the real problems occur in the next 72 hours, because at the moment it really is bitterly cold. We've got this large area of high pressure over Scandinavia, drawing in extremely cold weather across the continent. These are the temperatures on the continent just a few minutes ago. In fact, -10 degrees at Berlin and at Prague, and -7 degrees further north in Stockholm. And that colder weather all the time is feeding further and further west. So these are our afternoon temperatures, only 2 or 3 degrees above freezing in many parts of the country, but it does feel bitterly cold and raw in that strengthening easterly wind. So put the two together then, and that's how it feels out there today, well below freezing throughout the country. That's the wind chill temperature, about -2 to -5 degrees, so you will need to be wrapped up if you're out and about. Now, there is some sunshine around, notably down through the Irish Sea and up into central parts of Scotland, and that brighter weather, if anything, feeding further west across Northern Ireland as we go through today. But for many central and eastern parts of England and eastern Scotland, it looks like being basically cloudy, with some snow flurries to come through the rest of the afternoon as well. We've had 1 or 2 already, not amounting to anything really, just a few snow grains, but you will see them in the air coming through on that strong wind. But tonight those snow grains, snow flurries will become more extensive and a bit heavier too, especially down through the North Sea coastal areas here into central and southern parts of England. So there will be a dusting of snow in a few areas by tomorrow morning. It'll also be an extremely cold night, penetrating frost tonight with that strong wind up to gale force in places. -2 to -6 degrees seems to be on the cards for the end of tonight. And tomorrow it looks like being bitterly cold as well. A very strong wind picking up gales in many areas by tomorrow night, and temperatures in many areas too staying at or below freezing throughout the day. There's the chart once again. And we're going to find low pressure developing from the southwest late on. So that does mean to say we are expecting some really bad weather to come in from the southwest into South Wales across southern counties of England by tomorrow evening. That means blizzards up on the hills especially, and snow on lower ground too for quite a while. The brightest of the weather tomorrow will be up in that northwestern corner of the country. That band of snow then moving northwards during tomorrow night and during Tuesday as well, with eventually somewhat milder weather returning from the southwest. But it's very, very difficult to judge how quickly that milder weather will take over. Certainly to begin with then, very cold, bitterly cold, gale force easterly winds across the whole of the country. On Tuesday then, a band of heavy snow moving northwards across all parts, then turning misty and milder from the south later in the day. Temperatures will certainly recover, and there will be a thaw of that lying snow late on. And then things, as I said at the beginning, return to normal for Wednesday onwards. We'll find winds coming in from the southwest at that time, any snow in the north gradually thawing once again, the misty conditions being replaced by outbreaks of rain from the southwest. Then during Thursday and Friday, bands of rain, quite windy.